Hello everyone, today I am Rishabh Bharadwaj, Assistant Professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Farrukhnagar, Gurgaon, taking the automobile lecture, the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today in this lecture, we will discuss about suspension system, that is lecture number 12. First, we have to understand what is suspension. The suspension is the term given to the system of springs, shock absorber, linkage, and the connection of vehicle to its wheel. Mainly, the suspension is used to reduce the efforts and the jerks experienced to the driver or the co-passengers while driving. Suspension is a system of tires, tire air, springs, shock absorber, and linkage that connects a vehicle to the wheel and allows relative motion to two suspension system must support both road holding, handling, and ride quality, which are at odds with each other. The turning of suspension involves finding the right compromise. It is important for the suspension to keep the road wheel in contact with the road surface as much as possible, because all of the road or the ground forces acting on the vehicle to do so through the contact patches of the tires. The suspension also protect the vehicle itself and any cargo or luggage from damage and wear. It serves a dual purpose, that contributing to the car's handling and braking. It also provides a protection to our luggages from getting damaged and wear. Let's discuss about the purpose of suspension. What are the purpose by which or for what purpose we have introduced or invent suspension system? First, the suspension system supports the weight, the all the body weight and the passengers, driver and the luggage weight are being supported by the suspension system. Second, it provides a smooth ride. Third, it allows rapid cornering with extreme body roll. Fourth, keeping the tires in firm contact with roads, it provides great contact area with the road surface. It allows front wheel to turn side to side for steering. It also works with the steering system to keep the wheels in contact and in alignment. It isolates the passengers and cargo from the vibrations and shock. For all these purposes, we have introduced the suspension system, and simultaneously we are studying the different types of suspension system, as the different suspension system are used in different vehicles, as we have discussed in light motor vehicle and heavy motor vehicle or commercial vehicles. First, we should learn about the basic parts of suspension system. First, we have control arm. As you can see in the figure, we have two control arms that are connecting to the shocker mountings and sway away rod. The control arm. It is the movable lever that fastens the steering knuckle to the vehicle body or a frame, which allow the great opportunity or great control over the suspension and the car bodies. Second, we have steering knuckle. As you see in the figure, the steering knuckle are mounted or connected with the wheel and the body, which allow a great opportunity and movement and degree of freedom to move in some directions. And it provides the spindle or bearing support for the wheel hub, bearing and wheel assembly. Next we have a ball joint. Swivel joints that allows the control arm and the steering knuckles to move up and down and side to side. Springs. This is the main component of the suspension system. It supports the weight of the vehicle and permits the arm control and wheel to move up and down. Then we have a absorbers. The shock absorbers is also known as dampers. It keeps the suspension from continuing the bounce and after spring compression and expansion. Control arm pushes. Sleeves that allow the control arm to swing up and down on the frame. Now we have a non-independent suspension system. It has both right and left wheel attached to the same solid axle. When one wheel hit a bump in the road, its upward movement causes a slight tilt of the other wheel, which makes a complete movement in the vehicle, and the jerk distribution will be transferred from one wheel to another, and the driver and the co-passengers feel the less jerk overall in the body. Independent suspension system. In this suspension system, the independent system is a broad term for any automobile suspension that allows each wheel on the same axle to move vertically independent of each other, as there is no connection or connectivity to the other wheels. The individual suspension or shocker will move upward and downward and feel the jerk or impact caused during the ride to the wheels and the car. Next we have low speed bump with the no lean suspension. As you can see in the figure, if we have a non-independent structure, in this figure you have seen the non-independent system suspension. If the bump comes on the road or a speed breaker comes on a one wheel, the complete movement of the vehicle get tilted. As you can see in the figure, in figure 1 you can see the car is at the same level. When the speed breaker comes on a one wheel or a bump comes on a one wheel, the whole body of the vehicle will get tilted. And in the independent suspension system, as you can see, a bump comes on a one wheel, the movement of the wheel goes upward only in one wheel, not all over the body. This implies that the one wheel will move up and down and other will not feel the experience of that jerk. Suspension system, that is coil and a leaf spring. These are the diagrams of coil spring as well as the leaf spring suspension. As you can see in the coil spring suspension, we have a shock absorber, coil spring, main component coil spring. Then we have a stabilizer, ball joints and upper control arms, which are connected to the wheels, in which all the and bumps are experienced or feel by coil springs and the shock absorbers. All the mechanisms are being controlled by the coil spring and shock absorber by itself, and stabilizer will help to control all the movement of the vehicle. In the second we have a leaf spring. In the leaf spring we have a different component that can be front hanger, shock absorber, leaf springs and rear shackle. The first, the rear hanger and the saddle are used to connect the leaf spring with the car bodies or chassis, by which we are able to connect the whole with the help of leaf springs, and the complete load come over the leaf springs, and it will experience the bending and stress over it. With the help of shock absorber, we can absorb the whole impact coming on the wheel. Let's discuss more about the leaf spring. A leaf spring is a simple form of spring commonly used for the suspension in wheeled vehicles, originally called a laminated or carriage spring and sometimes referred as a semi elliptical springs or cart springs. It is one of the oldest form of springs appearing on carriage in England after 1750 and from there migrating to France and Germany. A leaf spring takes the form of cylinder arc shaped length of spring steel of rectangular cross section area. In the most common configuration, the center of the arc provides location of the axle, while loops formed at either end provides attached to the vehicle chassis. For very heavy vehicles, a leaf spring can be made from several leaves stacked on top of the each other in several layers, often with progressively shortened leaves. Leaf springs can serve locating and to some extent damping as well as spring function. While interleaf friction provides a damping action, it is not well controlled and results in sticking in the motion of the suspension. For this reason, some manufacturers have used mono leaf springs. A leaf spring can either be attached directly to the frame at both ends or attached directly at one end, usually the front, with the other end attached through a saddle or a short swing arms. The saddle takes up the tendency of a leaf spring to elongate when compressed and thus makes the softened springiness. Some spring terminates in concave end and called spoon end to carry a shriveling member. The leaf spring has been a modern development in cars. The new Volvo cars has a transverse leaf spring in high-tech composite material, a solution that is similar to the latest Chevrolet Corvette. This means a straight leaves of the spring and tied securely to the chassis and the end of the spring bolted to the wheel suspension to allow the spring to work independent on each wheel. That means the suspension is smaller and flatter and then the traditional setup. These type of leaf springs can be used in different different areas. The use in many earlier application, it is used as a internal friction provides damping. It provides lateral location for the axle and they are very heavy suspension. These are prone to weaken over time and it enables or it bends during some intervals of the time. Leaf springs are now limited to rear or some cars. Only rear axle suspension is being used for leaf springs, otherwise no front wheel is used for the leaf spring purpose. Now we have a coil spring. Coils in suspension are the most trusted and widely used all over the world in automobiles. Coil springs are little to no internal damping. It is of low cost and a compact size, and it is widely used in most of the cars. Coil spring is the most common type of spring found in modern vehicles also. A coil spring is a mechanical device which is typically used to store energy and subsequently release it to absorb shock or to maintain the force between the contacting surfaces. They are made an elastic material formed in the shape of helix which returns to the natural length when unloaded. Under tension or compression, the material of a coil spring undergoes torsion. The spring characteristic therefore depend on the shear modulus, not a Young modulus. A coil spring may be used as a torsion spring in case the spring as a whole is subjected to torsion about its helical axis. The material of the spring is thereby subjected to the bending moment, either reducing or increasing the helical radius. In this mode, it is the Young modulus of the material that determines the spring characteristic. Metal coil springs are used or made up of winding a wire around the shape former. A cylinder is used from the form cylindrical coil springs. Coil springs for vehicles are typically made of hardened steel. A machine called coiler takes spring wire that has been heated so as to easily to shaped. It is then fed on a lathe that has a metal rod with the desired coil spring size. The machine takes the wire and guides it onto the spring rod as well as the pushing it across to the rod to form multiple coils. The spring is then ejected from the machine and operator will put it into the oil to cool off. The spring is then tempered to lose the brittleness from being cooled. The coil size and the strength can be controlled by the lathe rod size and material used. Different alloys are used to get certain characteristics out of spring such as stiffness, damping and strength. If we are talking about the application of the coil spring in car suspension, the coil springs are mostly commonly used in vehicle suspension. These springs are compression springs and can differ greatly in strength and size depending on application. A coil spring suspension can be stiff to soft depending on the vehicle it is used on. The coil spring can either be mounted with a shock absorber or mounted separately. Coil spring in trucks allow them to ride smoothly when unloaded, and once loaded to spring suppress and become stiff. This allows the vehicle to bounce when loaded. The coil suspension is used in high performance cars so that they can absorb bumps and have low body roll. In off-road vehicle, they are used because of the range of travel they allow to the wheel. Coil coil springs in the engine. The coil springs are used in the engine. These springs are compression springs and play an important role in closing the valves that feed air and inlet and exhaust gases of the combustion chamber. The tension and extension coil springs of a given material, wire diameter and coil diameter exert the same force when fully loaded. Increased number of coils merely increase free length and compression and extension length. Next we have a torsion bar. One end of the torsion bar is attached to the frame and other to the lower arm control arm. Up and down of the suspension system twisted the torsion bar. It is then try to return to its original shape and the moving control arms to its original place. A torsion bar suspension is also known as torsion spring suspension. In any vehicle, suspension that uses a torsion bar has its main weight bearing springs. One end of a long metal bar is attached firmly to the vehicle chassis and the opposite end terminates in a lever. The torsion key mounted perpendicular to the bar that is attached to the suspension arm or splinter or the axle. Vertical position of the wheel causes the bar to twist around its axis and it resists by the bar torsion resistance. The effective the effective spring rate of the bar is determined by its length, cross section, shape, material and the manufacturing process. Now we will discuss about the advantages and the disadvantages of torsion bar suspension system. The main advantages of the torsion bar suspension are soft ride due to elasticity of the bar. It is more it has high durability, easy to adjustable of ride height and small profile along the width of the vehicle. It takes less of the vehicle interior volume than coil spring. Torsion bar reaches the height of their popularity on the mass production car in the middle of the 20th century at the same time of the unitary construction was being developed. At the time of this mechanism of stress and metal fatigue in monocube body frame was poorly understood. Torsion bar were effective to vehicle designer as the bar could be mounted to reinforce part of the central structure. Typically bulkhead using the McPherson struts to achieve independent front suspension with the coil springs meant providing strong turrets in the frontal structure of the car. The main disadvantages of the torsion bar suspension system are that unlike coil springs usually cannot provide a progressive spring rate. In most common torsion bar system, ride height may be changed by simply adjusting bolts that connect the torsion bars of the steering knuckles. In most of the cars with the type of suspension, swapping torsion bar for a different spring is usually an easy task. Longitudinal torsion bar extended under the passenger compartments, cutting into interior spacing while raising the floor, while transverse system torsion bar length is limited to vehicle length. Next we have a sway bars or a stabilizer bar. It is commonly used to keep the body from leaning excessively in sharp turning. It is to fasten to control lower control arms. During the cornering, the centrifugal force makes the outside of body drop and inside rise. The bar's resistance to twisting motion limits body lean in cornering. Then we have a shock absorber. A shock absorber is a mechanical device designed to smooth out or damp shock impulse and dissipate kinetic energy. A limited spring suspension extension. It has a limit springs which allows them to extend at a limited ends and the movement of the ride will get smoother. Without shock absorbers, the vehicle would continue to bounce up and down after a long striking dip or hump on the road, as it absorbs or neglect all the jerks and the impacts caused due to road and feel by the tires and all vibrations absorbed by the shock absorbers. Then we have a suspension type that is a McPherson. This is a strut assembly generally known as McPherson struts. In this, we have a assembly of a complete suspension by which we are able to absorb all the vibrations and other bodies. Generally, the McPherson strut assembly is a independent suspension system. It consists of a shock absorber or a coil spring and a upper damping unit. The strut assembly often replaces the upper control arm, and the steering gear is either connected directly to the lower shock absorber housing or to an arm from the front or the back of the spindle. When you steer, it physically twists the strut and shock absorber housing to turn the wheel. What are the advantages of this type of suspension? It is low production cost and stamped construction. Pre-assembled. The strut's body carries spring assembly, can be pre-assembled, compact, simple mounted and no need for an upper control arms. Simplicity. It reduction in fasteners and alignment of the vehicle suspension components. Then we have a air suspension. The air suspension is a air suspension is a type of suspension powered by an electric engine driven air pumps or compressor. This compressor pumps the air into the flexible bellow, usually made from textile reinforced rubber. This in turn inflated. The bellow and the rises the chassis from the axle. This is also known as the pneumatic spring on semi-trailers. What are the advantages of pneumatic suspension? The main advantage is that these maintain a constant frequency of vibration whether the vehicle is laden or unladen. The constant frame height is to be maintained by these suspensions. It also helps reduce the load while the vehicle in motion, that is the dynamic loading, as the spring rate variation between laden and unladen weight is much less. It gives a smooth and comfortable ride of the vehicle. The stiffness of the system increases with increase of the deflection. Common air suspension problems, or we can say limitations or the disadvantages of air suspensions or pneumatic suspension. First, we have a airbags or air struts failure. Due to the old age or moisture within the air system that damages them from the inside. The compressor failure, that primarily due to leakage air springs or air struts. Compressor burnout may also be caused by moisture while from within the air system coming from contact with the electronic parts. Dryer failure, when function to remove moisture from the air system eventually becomes saturated and enables the system to get failure. Then we have transverse suspension system. In this we have connectivity of two suspension system with the help of one leaf spring, by which we are able to connect the both suspensions, and we will also feel the experience of leaf spring, by which we are able to get more shock absorption from this system. Normally it's found on the rear suspension system. It combines independent double wishbone suspension with a leaf spring. It involves one leaf spring mounted across the vehicle and connected each other and to the lower wishbones. The center of the spring is connected to the front subframe in the middle of the car. There are two shock absorbers mounted each of the side of the lower wishbones. How can we check? Now we will discuss how can we check the shock absorber conditions. First we can do the bouncing test, and second we can check by leaking shocks. First, in the bouncing test, what we have to do, we have to push down one corner of the vehicle's body, then release the body and count the number of times the vehicle rebounds. Good condition of the suspension will will be the more number than 2 or 3 rebounds. Then we can check by the leakage shock. We can check the signals of the leakage, or we can directly see with the naked eyes while whether the suspension system is oily or wet or need to replace. We can check by checking the boil joints. If the boil joints are damaged or broken, we can replace the boil joints. If springs on a lower arms, jack stands go under the control arms. If spring if spring of upper control arms, the jacks go under the frame. If any play found, we have to replace the ball joints. Then we have a tie rod inspection. In the tie rod inspection, we have a outer tie rod, adjustment sleeves, and inner tie rod. The movement of the wheel side to side should be no play. If the tie rods have a play, then we have to replace it. Otherwise, if there is a no movement in a tie rod, then no need to replace the tie rods, and our suspension system is completely perfect. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for next videos that will become soon.